What's happening, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Stop Lounge. This is episode number 12, and we are your hosts, Jan and Malcolm. How are you, dude?
I'm alright, bro. Thank you. I mean, okay and not, to be honest, because I had a great weekend and a poor weekend at the same time, but we'll get into it. More than that, other than that, I'm okay. How are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just finished my daily jog of the week. Just got absolutely drenched with sweat. Had a great shower as well. So now I'm fine.
Summer is here.
Yeah, summer's well and truly here. I mean, we still have a couple of days to go for summer hits the country basically, but it's already really hot here in Malta. But anyways, guys, before we get into this episode, as always, make sure to hit us with a like, comment, and share on our socials: Facebook, Instagram. You know the drill. You know the vibes. For Spotify listeners, hit us with a rating and let us know your thoughts on each episode.
True.
And with that, let's head into today's episode. Malcolm, it's a
beefy episode, bro.
It's a beefy episode, man, because
beefy.
we had the
Hella
Montreal
beefy.
Grand Prix, but we also had some really significant news off the track. And before we get into Montreal, we're going to start with the off the track, the news that's hit off the track in the recent weeks. And it's been pretty significant news for silly season is well and truly at its peak at the moment. We've had a lot of driver extend their contracts, and this week we've had two more coming from the Red Bull Academy, and those two drivers are Yuki Tsunoda for Racing Bulls, sign a 1-year extension, and the second is Sergio Perez for Red Bull, signing a 2-year contract until 2026. Bro, I'm going to start with your thoughts. What do you think about this news?
Honestly, bro, and I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but in my opinion, I feel like they dropped the ball a bit with Sergio Perez, with Red Bull extending Sergio Perez's contract. I'm not saying they shouldn't have. I'm saying they should have, but at least for a year and not a multi-year deal, and especially not right now with Sergio Perez, because he's been really poor as of late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forget the races. Anything can happen in a race. But I just seen a stat earlier today, that in the last two races, if I seen it right, but in the last two races, Sergio Perez got out-qualified in qualifying. It got out-qualified not just by Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz or Max Verstappen or Lando Norris, but by Logan fucking Sargent. In a Williams.
The worst drivers at the grid at the moment.
Probably the worst driver on the grid. So to get out qualified by Logan Sargent twice, that's in a Williams, that's kind of alarming to me.
Yeah, very alarming.
That's kind of alarming, and they just extended his contract by 2 years. In my opinion, okay, maybe a bit of bad luck, and if they really wanted to extend this contract, maybe for at least just a year, but 2 years, I think it's a bit of a stretch, considering they extended Tsunoda's contract by only a year. So with that being said, it should be the other way around,
in my opinion.
I think it should be a year each. So from next season, then going into 2026, either Sergio Perez stays, Yuki Tsunoda either replaces him, or someone else replaces Sergio Perez.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
We could see a shot. And about Yuki Tsunoda?
Huh?
And about Yuki Tsunoda?
Yeah, I agree with Yuki Tsunoda, bro. He's very talented and he's really improved, especially this season in that RB. Bro is looking fire right now. Consistent top 10 finishes, I believe, no?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's appeared in Q3 in bar one track, if I'm not mistaken, this season.
Which is crazy.
Which is absolutely batshit crazy. Yeah, he got out-qualified by his teammate this weekend, but...
other than that, he's still beating him by a country man, no?
Yeah.
They're like, how much are they? 7-1? 6-2?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me check a bit.
If I want to say my thoughts about both of these extensions, Yuki Tsunoda, I 100% agree with it. I think he deserves that extension this season. He's been easily in the best run of form he's been in his Formula One career at the moment. He's been outstanding in qualifying. In the races, he's been also strong. This weekend, he's been the complete opposite as well. But this season, Yuki has been brilliant. He's shown we've seen a new side of him. He's taken leadership at that team, and that extension is fully deserved. Sergio Perez, on the other hand, I have to agree with you as well, bro. The timing isn't right. It's very fishy. And considering how this weekend went for him as well, and even comparing to last season, I mean, by this point last season, he had already won a race, Sergio Perez. So far, he's won absolutely nothing.
It hasn't even looked remotely close.
He hasn't even looked remotely close to Max to his teammate as well. I mean, he's been by far second best, without a doubt. He's been second best, and that pretty much shuts the door for some drivers potentially heading for Red Bull. I mean, I'm looking at
least for the next 2 years till 2026.
I'm looking at Carlos Sainz at the moment. This guy. I would be worried if I was him at the moment because
should he be?
The seats are lying out for him at the moment, bro. I'm hearing there are strong rumors that he might be heading to Williams next.
James Vowles confirmed it. James Vowles confirmed it this weekend that Carlos Sainz is Williams' #1 target.
It would be such a bad move for him, though, man. Because
I mean, it's not the worst.
He doesn't.
It's not the worst. No,
man.
Okay. Listen, does he deserve better? Sure, he deserves better.
Yeah.
But is it really the worst? Surely there's worse than Williams. I consider Haas worse than Williams, even though the season doesn't prove to be the case.
I mean, but this season so far, it's just the Sauber who is worse at the moment.
True. But I don't really consider it that way.
I disagree, man. I'm sorry. I think
it's not the worst. It's not the worst move. And clearly, if Williams, if Carlos Sainz are Williams's #1 target, I think that shows the team's ambitions. No.
Yeah, I mean, he will obviously replace Logan Sargent because Alex Albon obviously has signed a new contract, so that's obviously he's obviously out of the question. I wouldn't be a fan of the move. I think Carlos deserves a strong team like Red Bull, for example, to be in that team. But then again, he won't be second fiddle to Max. Then again, obviously, if Max stays at Red Bull, because even Max hasn't confirmed yet if he will be staying with Red Bull or not next season.
He has his options clear. Listen, that Mercedes seat that Lewis Hamilton is gonna be vacant after he leaves. Is still up for grabs.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, going back to Sergio Perez, the timing isn't right at the moment.
Nope.
Perez is on a stinker at the moment. Even
Absolutely.
how this weekend turned out for him. Q1 exits for a caliber of his job. That's just unacceptable for him. To be
and in a Red Bull, for God's sakes, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
A Red Bull. Is it another case that the Red Bull second seat is still cursed?
I mean, at the moment, it's looking. I mean, Perez.
Is the curse coming back, bro? Is the curse coming back?
Yeah, but Perez has performed. I mean, compared to the previous drivers who took the second seat, he's by far been the best one of the lot. But
easily. Easy. But way better than Albon. Way better than Gasly.
But it shows that the focus is on Max's car, not Checo's car.
Listen, bro. Red Bull is Max Verstappen FC.
Yeah, it is.
We've always knew that. We've always known that. Let's be real now.
100%. I agree with that. But just to wrap up on both of these drivers' announcements. Tsunoda, I agree with it. He deserves it. He's been outstanding this season, and long may he continue this form. But with Sergio Perez, I'm not sure about it. I mean, I
think they could have eventually extended his contract during the season, but it should have been for at least a year, not 2.
Because
I think they went too far with 2 years.
And here's why I don't agree with it. Because let's say he continues to he pull off absolute stinkers weekend after weekend. I mean, Helmut Marko or Christian Horner would have to make a decision about it. Definitely. I mean, we know how ruthless these guys are in taking decisions. And now, since he signed a new contract, he's not going anywhere.
Nope.
So I would have for me, I would have given the most, like you said, maybe
A year.
one more year tops. But
Compare
2 years,
him to someone like Yuki Tsunoda, and then
yeah.
move on from there.
I mean, Checo would
Because
be
I believe 2026 now, I well and truly believe that we could see Yuki Tsunoda besides Max Verstappen in a Red Bull.
Max, I'm not sure. I mean, we'll have to see because Max right
Max
now.
is still listen. Max is still contracted till 2028.
Yeah, fair
So
enough,
whoever is gonna take Max Verstappen needs to pay a premium and a half.
yeah, definitely, I agree.
Needs to
I
pay a
agree with
premium and a
that.
half. So in 2026, if of course Max Verstappen stays, but they're gonna have to pay a premium for any
Yeah.
of the teams, I could see Yuki Tsunoda alongside Max Verstappen in that Red Bull.
Obviously, we have to see how he continues to perform, Yuki, as
Of
well.
course, of course, yes, of
because
course, no
form
doubt.
is absolute key for
Absolutely.
this caliber. I mean, Ricardo, there's no way he's going to be in that seat. I mean, yes, he hasn't had a terrible weekend, but listen, let's see how Yuki performs. If he continues this form, then the rumors are going to start to lighten up quite fast.
That's my prediction, though. That's my prediction for 26.
Yeah.
That's my
Listen,
prediction.
I mean, we never wish any drivers to leave the sport,
Absolutely
not at all.
No.
But I wouldn't.
Apart from maybe one person that we just heard news on.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, yeah, Sergio Perez and Tsunoda both of their contracts extended till 1 year for Tsunoda and 2 years for Perez. The other news, which concerns Alpine, is pretty significant because Esteban Ocon. We know what happened in Monaco. That fuck up he did on the first lap with his teammate Pierre Gasly. Alpine have announced that they and Esteban Ocon will be parting company at the end of the season. So this season for Esteban Ocon would be his last at Alpine. And personally, I'm not surprised by this. I mean, Ocon.
It's been coming.
It's been coming, yeah.
It's been coming.
What are your thoughts on this before I get to my thoughts, actually?
Listen. The rivalry between Gasly and Ocon started from last season when Gasly joined Alpine, and they've never been the best of friends. They've always been rivals. They've always been rivals. The thought of having two French drivers in a French team, that is great, absolutely great. But it's not worked out at all.
No,
absolutely
not.
It's been a nightmare.
It's been disappointing, really.
Multiple changes in the background. Many misery after misery for Alpine when it comes to races and the drivers, all that sort of stuff. And regarding Ocon, yeah, we're talking about a race winner here. Let's not forget.
One-time race winner, yeah, actually.
Yeah, but still a race win.
Yeah, he is.
Still a race win.
Yeah, he is.
He's a race winner. Like it or not, nobody can take that away from him. He is a race winner, and he won it with Alpine.
Yeah.
But the thing with Ocon is, yeah, he has never been a team player, hasn't he?
No, absolutely not.
He had problems with Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, and now Pierre Gasly. Three drivers. Perez when he was with Racing Point. Alonso with Alpine, and now Gasly as well with Alpine.
Yeah.
So Alpine are probably looking at that and they're telling themselves, is it the problem of the car? Is it the teammates' problem, or is Ocon the problem? And I think they finally hit the chopping block on Esteban Ocon, which, to be honest, I rightfully agree.
Yeah.
I rightfully agree. So I think it's about time that Ocon has left. And they start new, they start fresh, they start over without Esteban Ocon. I would have really disagreed if they removed Gasly, though.
No, yeah.
I would have really disagreed.
100%.
So the removal of Ocon, it's been a long time coming. He had problem with teammates in the past. So I think this was a right call by Alpine.
Yeah, listen, my points are pretty exactly the same as yours. I think it's best for both parties that Ocon has had to leave at the end of the season because, like you said, he's just I mean, if you're his teammate, good luck to you, man, because he's just not a team player
Nah,
at
bro.
all, man. I mean, he's had, like you said, 3 fallouts with 3 different drivers, so.
Three very good drivers, by
Three
the way.
very good drivers, by the way.
Three very
Yeah,
good drivers.
absolutely.
Let's not forget.
One of them is a 2-time world champion. Let's not forget.
And Fernando Alonso.
With Fernando Alonso. So yeah, I think fair play to Alpine and fair play to what's the name of the principal of Alpine? It's not in my head at the moment.
Bruno
Famin, yeah, absolutely.
Bruno Famin.
It wasn't in my head at the moment, but kudos to them, man, because they found what the problem was with that team. Listen, their car is nowhere near good enough, but at least they're slowly getting the car and how they shaped it to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, they made the right. I 100% agree with this decision that Ocon had to leave the team. If they removed Gasly, it would been a disastrous one of all proportions.
Absolutely,
it would have been. One thing about Ocon, where's he gonna end up? Is he gonna leave Formula One?
I think he'll leave Formula One.
Yeah,
I think he'll take a sabbatical.
I think it would, for me, yeah, I think that's my guess as well. And
which would be for the second time.
Yeah, the second time, absolutely.
Which would be for the second time after he left Racing Point in 2018, was it?
22, somewhere between 2018 and 2019. Yeah.
Because he came back in 2020 with Alpine, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yes. And we're speaking of Carlos Sainz. I mean, Alpine could be another option for him, eh? It could be another option for him. Obviously, we have young drivers.
Who's better though, Alpine or Williams for Sainz?
Based on performance, I would go with Alpine, but I mean, you won't have. I mean, there's not much of a difference either.
I think I'd still choose Williams, bro. I still choose. If I was Sainz, I would probably still choose Williams. Alpine is just too all over the place. All over the place. Not just car, but everything that's going on in the background.
Management-wise as well, yeah. Of
disastrous, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do I want to go to a semi-stable team in Williams? Or do I want complete chaos and go to Alpine?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think the semi-stable one is the option to go for, absolutely.
Easy.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm saying semi-stable. I think they're quite stable at Williams.
Yeah.
If they want to go for a driver like Sainz, just saying.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, just to wrap up on Ocon, a wise decision for me. That they that they've sacked him basically, because I mean I've read the statement. It's pretty much a sacking. I mean,
Ocon in the bins, bro.
There was definitely disagreements between the team and the driver himself.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately another driver potentially leaving F1 in general. I mean, we never want to see it. I mean, we said it before and we're going to say it again. But I think Ocon, he knew this was going to come. I mean, unfortunately, he's just not your guy for if you want to.
And listen, this is what I want to say. Because we state that Ocon is not a team player.
Yeah.
In reality, no F1 driver is really a team player.
But
in reality, yes, every driver wants to win, but they somehow put the team first still.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Ocon, it's just him
first.
Him. There's no team in between. That's Ocon for you.
I mean, at least in Monaco, he admitted he made the mistake, but still.
With that longish post, didn't he?
Yeah.
With that longish post.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm okay with the fact that you go for it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the fact is, you're doing it over and over again. You're not the best of terms. You're not in the best of terms with your teammate, and you're doing that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. He just never learns, man. He just never learns, unfortunately, Esteban. But anyways, if this is his last season, sad to see another driver leave. At least he has one race win in his belt. At least that's the positive he can take. But I think he shot himself in the foot here with Esteban Ocon. Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. Again.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Again.
All right, so those are the news related to the drivers. To some driver updates. The one piece of, of big news that we got is that we got our first preview of the 2026 car. Now, obviously, guys, 2026 is going to be a massive year for Formula One. There's going to be new regulations coming in. We got also a preview of the car that the drivers would be driving. And they've also announced some changes with the car, and these are as follows. Let me get the graphic over here. So the first one will be that the cars will be 30 kilograms lighter. The second, that the wheels will be 18 inches long. The wheelbase will be reduced by 200 millimeters. The car width by 100 millimeters. It will be reduced. The downforce will be reduced by 30%, the drag reduced by 55%. That's a pretty big, significant gap. The wheel arches will be removed. And the last one, which is a pretty big one, bro, is that the DRS will be replaced by an active aero system. So DRS next season will be the last to have used the system. Quick thoughts on this?
Honestly, bro, listen, we knew the 2026 regs were coming at some point, so the removal of the DRS kind of shook me, can't lie.
Yeah, same here.
Kind of shook me, I can't lie. I didn't see that coming. And I really didn't see coming that they were going for a shorter car. Yes, they were rumors, but I always took them with a grain of salt.
Yeah, absolutely. But now they're obviously through now, the rumors.
But I firmly believe, I think with the active aero, with the front wing and the rear wing, I think there's going to be some creativity going on there with the teams. I think the teams are going to be very creative in that area.
I think the competitiveness will increase as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
DRS, obviously, if you have like a Red Bull or like a Ferrari, let's say they're going to overtake an Alpine or a Williams or a Sauber or a Haas. With DRS, they overtake them easily. I think now without the DRS, it's going to be much more challenging now to
let's say we're gonna go back to like back in the day, back in 06, 06, 07, where basically aero and engine power were everything.
Yeah, agree.
Aero and engine power. This time you have aero, engine, and the battery, of course.
Yeah.
So I think there's gonna be some creativity going on there.
And even the fact the cars will be lighter by 30 kilos, I think that will help. That will help obviously reduce the weight.
And they're going to be smaller as well, which would benefit in circuits like Monaco.
Yeah, I think the street circuits are going to be a big advantage with the smaller cars. Not just Monaco. I think even like Miami and Baku, for example.
I mentioned Monaco because that's the worst place to try and overtake.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least you get some opportunities in Miami and in Azerbaijan.
I think 2026 is going to be a big year for the sport as well. I mean, it's not just with the car. I think we're going to see a new era of the sport. I think we're going to hopefully see. I mean, this season so far it's been very, very competitive, but this season, I think 2026 is going to be. I think we're hoping. Obviously, I don't want to curse or anything, but let's hope that 2026 will be a very, very competitive year and a very exciting one as well. And with the changes, the DRS is a pretty big one. Even the fact that the wheel arches are going to be removed and the weight of the car is going to be reduced. I also those are quite big changes.
I agree with the wheel arches being removed, bro. They look hideous, don't they?
Yeah. Even same here. I mean,
they look hideous, bro. Nah.
Needless.
I don't know who the hell invented the wheel arches thing, because they had to dip, and thank God.
The FIA probably.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know who within the FIA though. That's the key.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this front and rear wing active aerodynamic is very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. I think that's the most interesting in this whole thing, because I believe that there's gonna be some creativity. Adrian Newey, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be some creativity there.
I agree. Any more thoughts? Well, I think we should wrap up on this point as well. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that they remind me the way in the pictures, how they look. Yeah. They remind me of how the 2006 cars used to look.
Yeah, I agree.
Now all we need is V10 engines.
Yeah.
All we need is the V10s, bro, and we're good to go. All we need is the V10s. Just bring us back to V10s.
I really miss those sound of the engines, by the way, man. Those are just iconic. Now, I mean,
they're orgasmic, man.
Yeah, I mean,
They're so orgasmic.
I'm not saying today's engines.
I believe we speak on behalf of everyone on this.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
We speak on behalf of
Yeah,
everyone. So,
absolutely. I mean, listen, I don't hate today's engines, but those V8 and V10 engines back in the day were just they're
no
just
doubt.
they're just iconic, man. I mean,
Oh, the orgasmic.
and the best for them is to see them live. Those live in a racetrack. I mean, that would be music to my fucking ears, man.
Bro, the sound is like hearing a Concorde plane.
Yeah,
No?
absolutely.
Or Red Arrow. Or Red Arrow
yeah.
jet.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
I agree. I think we should wrap up on the 2026
Yeah.
car. All right,
Promising.
guys,
Promising.
Yeah,
If I have to
very,
sum it
very
up in one
promising.
word, promising.
Yeah, same here. I think intriguing stuff. Obviously, we're gonna hear way more stuff about this in the future. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that we got a first glimpse of how the cars are gonna be like in 2 years' time. Is already a plus for the fans as well. But
Yeah.
2026 still have this season and next season to go, and then we'll get into the nook and cranny of that of how that car will be looking.
Promising.
All right, bro. Let's get into last weekend's Grand Prix, which is Montreal in Canada. Brief break from our European tour. We're headed to Canada. And, bro, I don't know about you, but this is one of my favorite tracks in the Canada. This track has always been one of the most entertaining in the calendar, especially when rain hits the track. Especially and this weekend was no exception. I think that this week, I think Montreal. Is a great track. It shouldn't be removed. Not even close to it.
No.
And after the procession that was Monaco, I think we needed this track. Honestly,
Yeah.
we needed a
It came at the perfect time.
And it came at the perfect time. Your thoughts, bro, on Montreal?
Absolutely. Listen, bro, I agree with you. Everything you just said. I love Canada. I love Montreal. It has the infamous Wall of Champions, which another driver who's champion had a bit of a love tap there, didn't he? This weekend? Had a bit of a love tap there this weekend, which adds to the Wall of Champions. It's a great layout. Should never be removed. Agree with you. Even on the F1 game, it's so fun to drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so smooth, so plain sailing, so flowing, bro.
That racing Wall of Champions, that is one of the most annoying corners in the track. Probably the most annoying corner in the track because lots of drivers can easily, one small mistake, they can hit that.
One small move off the racing line and you're into the wall.
Yeah.
One small move off the racing line and you're into the wall. So, but yeah, absolutely love Canada.
Yeah,
absolutely
and this weekend was once again didn't disappoint. Because this, I think we should be in agreement here. This has easily been
race of
the
the
most
season,
entertaining weekend of the season. Yeah,
race of the season.
I agree. And even qualifying was fun to watch.
I didn't get to see qualifying though. I know what happened. I seen the race, but I didn't really see qualifying. I didn't have the chance to see it.
I managed to see qualifying as well. But and even practice, there was quite a lot of stuff going on. Lots of crashes as well. We did see a debut with Jacques Doohan, who is the reserve driver for Alpine. He replaced Esteban Ocon, which
Jacques Doohan, man. Jack Doohan.
I kind of have a suspicion why they replaced him for just free practice. But anyways, with Jack Doohan, bro, you were saying about him?
Jack Doohan, bro, the son of the famous MotoGP legend Mick Doohan.
Yeah, Mick Doohan, yeah.
If he could be anywhere near his father, chapeau.
I mean, who knows? We could see him in a Formula 1 seat in that Alpine team next season when we were speaking about who was going to get that F1 seat. Maybe it could be him.
It could be him. They can experiment. They have nothing to lose, Alpine.
Yeah.
They can experiment.
I agree.
Shout out Jack Doohan, bro.
Yeah, shout out to him as well. Yeah, shout out to him. The one unlucky driver was Zhou Guanyu in practice. I mean, he pretty much crashed, if I'm not mistaken, in pretty much every single free practice session. I mean, that's a disaster for a driver of this caliber, I think.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Yeah. Shit happens, I guess. Shit hits the fan.
Shit happens, absolutely. All right, bro. Guys. Let's get to the usual qualifying, and then we get to the race. We hand out our rewards. You know the drill. You know the vibes. So, qualifying was very, very lively to watch. I mean, just like the race. But in Q1, we had one big shock, which we will get into. But those who got the drivers who got knocked out in Q1. Zhou Guanyu again 20th. I mean, Zhou had a disastrous weekend in general. I
Yeah.
mean, he crashing in free practice, and once again only managing getting the slowest time in qualifying. For Sauber, for a driver of where he is at the moment, pretty much expected, but disastrous for him, and to finish pretty much rock bottom. Nico Hülkenberg in 19th, considering how his qualifying sessions have been going through this entire season. 19th, expected far more for him, maybe a Q2 or a Q3 appearance. So 19th, sorry, is not good enough for Nico Hülkenberg. Esteban Ocon 18th. Now, obviously, Ocon car on the grid.
The thing is, I'm seeing the lap times between Bottas and Zhou. Yeah, Bottas did a 1:13.3 and Zhou did a 1:14.2.
Atrocious.
That's almost a second, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
That's almost a second.
Bottas is easily the superior driver.
No doubt about
it. I mean, no doubt about it. But the big surprise, we were speaking about him earlier in the episode. Sergio Perez, the third time in a row that he hasn't made it to Q1. Again,
is it really a surprise, bro, at this point?
But you expect so much more for him, man. You expect way better for him. I mean, he's driving
for him and in the car he's in.
A fucking Red Bull, man.
I don't know, bro.
Fucking Red Bull, man. I mean,
I don't know what Checo's problem is, bro. I really don't know.
Listen, I'm gonna go back to his contract
because he doesn't have championship pressure. Unlike last season.
But listen, he can't just keep on.
Listen, bro. This is what I want to say. Yeah. Last season, we blamed Checo's poor performances after Monaco because he was in a title fight. This year, he's nowhere near a title fight.
Not this season, though.
And he's doing worse.
Far worse.
He's doing worse.
Far worse.
So I don't know what the problem is, bro. Honestly, I really don't know, man.
And his contract extension news, the timing of it is atrocious, man. The timing of it. I mean, I would have again, if I would have extended Perez's contract, I would have given not just Canada. I would have given probably after in the middle portion where we go to Spa-Francorchamps. But
yeah.
Just a shocker for Sergio Perez, man. No, it's just I mean, this weekend for him has been a disastrous one.
Absolutely atrocious, bro.
But 16th, not unacceptable for him. In Q2, we had even more surprises, and we're gonna get into that in just a second. But I mean, again, expected of who got knocked out in Q2. The Alpine of Pierre Gasly, the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, and the Williams of Logan Sargent. I mean, Logan Sargent 13th is for him. It's a decent result for him. I mean, he's
very good. Very good.
For him, he's always been in that Q1 phase, and to get a 13th place, for Logan, for him, it's a decent result. But again, the Haas and the Alpine, I mean, pretty much the most they could have managed with that car, with their cars. But the big surprise is the two Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, 11th and 12th. I mean, they've been struggling since practice, basically. I mean, they had something wrong with their engines. The car just wasn't up to scratch at all, man. I mean, your thoughts on it? 11th and 12th is just unacceptable for them, man. What do you think? Nothing?
What to say, bro? What do you want me to say?
You got a double podium last race, though.
Wait, listen, bro. We got a 1-2 in Australia, a double podium in Monaco, and 2 weeks later we do that. That happens. Listen, even in first practice, things were looking doom and gloom. I don't know why. I don't know what's the reason. Because it has low-speed corners and high-speed straights. Did we got killed off in the high-speed straights? Is that the case? Because, bro, trust me, I do not know. I don't know what happened. How can you go from the highest of highs 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks later you go to the lowest of lows? I don't know what happened. I guess shit happens. Bad days happen. Bad days at the office. We put our chin up and we move on. I think that's the best we could do. But It
Yeah,
is what it is.
absolutely. But
And that was Saturday.
yeah, I mean
And that was Saturday.
Sunday was even worse,
We'll
bro.
get to
But
we'll get to Sunday. We'll get to Sunday. We'll get to
Sunday was
Sunday.
even worse. But yeah, 11th and 12th. I mean, Ferrari got out qualified by a Williams. I mean, by a Williams. I mean,
By
no
of Alex Albon.
disrespect, no disrespect to Alex Albon and his team, but if a Ferrari gets out qualified by one of the worst teams on the grid, you know you have a problem there. I mean, that is fuck. That
Bro,
is fucking
listen, bro. Not just by a Williams, but by the two RBs
Oh, that's
as
the other
well.
one. Yeah, fuck.
Of Tsunoda and Danny Rick.
Who has had a shocker of a season so far.
I don't know, bro. I really
Terrible.
don't know.
I mean, really, really bad for Ferrari. I mean, to go literally from the highest of highs in Monaco to go to not even making it in Q3 with both of your cars, a setback.
And that's just scratching the surface for the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. We get into Q3. I mean, we mentioned Alex Albon. Alex Albon getting into Q3 with that Williams in 10th. Again, I mean, Alex, he's just pretty much repeating what he's doing last season. He's carrying the team at the moment, and evidently so. Fantastic qualifying session for him to get to get into Q3 with 10th. Lance Stroll in 9th, and he needed this, Lance Stroll, because over the past couple of weekends, he's struggled to get into Q3. He's been definitely out. He was being outperformed by his teammate Alonso. So a 9th place finish is a massive boost in confidence for him. Yuki Tsunoda, we mentioned that he's just signed a new contract and once again making another Q3 appearance. Consistent again. I mean, he's just showing no signs of slowing down when it comes to qualifying. And the funny thing is, he didn't out-qualify his teammate because Danny Rick went even better to him, and we're gonna get to him very, very soon.
I think that's the first time this season, no?
Yeah, definitely first time, definitely.
I think the first time this season.
Definitely. Hamilton in 7th. Yeah, no, not great, isn't it? I mean, for
Listen, bro. He was just bro. He was just only 3/10 off. 3/10 off at first.
But,
that's not the worst. It's not the best, but not the worst.
Yeah, but Mercedes have been had a great weekend overall. I mean, they've been showing strong outings, strong record lap times.
Yeah.
In practice as well. I mean, Hamilton got the fastest time in one of the pre-practice sessions as well. So he's had a great session. So Alonso 6th. Again, top starting in the 3rd row. Yeah, starting the 3rd row. Again, Alonso has had shocking.
He needed this bit of a bounce back, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we said Lance Stroll needed this. Alonso needed this even more with how his qualifying sessions were going during the season. But
especially with the last two in Imola and
Q1,
Monaco.
Yeah. No, not even making to not even making to Q2.
Yeah.
Danny Rick in 5th. Wow. I mean, just before qualifying, Jacques Villeneuve blasted the guy. I mean, he literally said that he doesn't deserve to be in Formula 1. He should retire straight away. And Danny Rick literally said, I'm going to take this personally because
that's what he did to Jacques Villeneuve, bro. He gave him the shotgun. He gave him the shotgun to the face.
He just literally said, hold my kangaroo beer or what the fuck I'm gonna have, basically. Or any Australian food or delicacy or whatever. And he got a 5th place finish, a top 5. And he needed this, Danny Rick. I mean, Danny Rick has been struggling all season. Outperformed by his teammate Yuki Tsunoda pretty much every single weekend so far, and to get a top 5 is a brilliant result for him. And even how his weekend turned out, yes, he may not finish in the top 5, but to start in the second in those places for a car like Racing Bulls, great result for him to be in those positions. The two McLarens in 3rd and 4th, again consistent. I mean, we're pretty much showing we're being consistent this season. I mean, we're being consistent both in qualifying and in the races. But in qualifying, again, another Q3 appearance, another top 5 start for both drivers. I mean, I'm just very, very happy right now with my team, how my team is going on. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts on that, bro?
absolutely. You should be. I mean,
Yeah,
McLaren, they've turned the corner around since the beginning of last season. Them
yeah.
upgrades kept paying dividends, and the trajectory you guys have been on has been just an upwards trajectory, which is great to see. I love to see McLaren thrive. Anybody to battle. If it's not Ferrari, I would love McLaren.
We're getting the car spot on. I mean, even with the
Yeah,
upgrades,
absolutely.
how those upgrades are turning out to be, how those upgrades they're paying off massively. And yeah, third and fourth. Sorry. Yeah, third and fourth. Yeah, third and fourth. For both
If it's
of my
not
for both
Ferrari, I want to
drivers.
see McLaren beating Red Bull, bro.
Yes, and we should, I mean, obviously to get pole is very, very tricky with obviously with Max there, but I have no complaints with my team at the moment. I mean,
No doubt.
with
You
the
you've
races
been on
that
the
we
up ever since Silverstone last season. You've just been on an upwards trajectory,
yes,
man.
yes,
And right,
absolutely.
and thankfully so,
Yeah,
because McLaren is a great team with such a
yes,
heritage in
yes.
the sport.
And Verstappen and George Russell occupying first and second. Now, Russell and Verstappen got the same time of a 1 minute 12.000 seconds. But the thing that happened is that Russell set his time first and Verstappen set his time later on. So it resulted in a dead heat and George Russell got pole position. Considering how his team is going on this season, that's a fantastic result for him, man.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And I was pushing for a George Russell win, bro.
Yeah, he did his
Honestly,
post. He did his
I'm
iconic
being
post
honest.
as well.
I would have loved George Russell to win. Another different winner this season already.
Yeah, but
Man, I would have
unfortunately,
loved
that,
it.
that didn't turn out to be that way. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
but um,
yeah.
the good news we're seeing with this season is that we're seeing we're not seeing dominance at least.
There's not much. There's none of that predictability.
No, there isn't.
There's
No,
more
there isn't.
unpredictabilityness. Is that the word?
Unpredictability. Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, there's much more unpredictability, which is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree
Which is
with
great
you.
to see.
Um, uh, but that heat, that's only the second time it has happened in the history of the sport. The last time it happened was with Michael Schumacher, I
Was
believe.
with Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, funnily enough,
Yeah.
and with Damon Hill in the '97 Jerez Grand Prix.
Yes, the Harris
Was it?
Grand Prix. Yes. Yes, I agree.
The Jerez Grand Prix back in '97, I believe.
Yeah, agree.
Was it Damon Hill though? I believe it was
I
Damon
believe
Hill.
it was Damon Hill, yes, but I mean, listen, Verstappen had nothing to complain about. I mean, he pretty much, if Russell set an even slower lap time, he would have got pole position. But um, uh,
Yeah,
very
'97.
strange circumstances to have the same time, but very happy to see a
Nope,
different driver
bro,
get.
bro. It wasn't Damon Hill. It was Heinz Harald Frentzen.
Oh, Heinz Halfrensen in the Jordan,
Let me check.
in the
No,
Jordan,
in the Williams Renault.
in the Williams. Okay, okay. So yeah, that's pretty much how qualifying wrapped up. Russell in first, Verstappen second, the two McLarens, Norris and Piastri, Ricardo fifth, Alonso sixth, Hamilton seventh, Tsunoda eighth, Stroll and Albon ninth and tenth. And that leads us to the race. Now, bro, Canada, rain. We've had many races where rain has pretty much impacted the race, and this race
Canada 2011.
was no exception. Oh, what a race that was, by the way.
Canada 2011.
The longest race probably I've ever watched in my entire lifetime, and we
I
won
didn't
it.
watch it, but I need to rewatch the highlights.
That was such a fantastic race, man.
Jensen Button won that day, yeah?
Yeah, Button won it. I mean, in the last lap, he pretty much
Yeah.
won it.
With Vettel spinning.
Vettel spinning, yeah, absolutely. Now obviously rain impacted the week. And if we look at the start, bro, you want to talk us through the start? It was a very, I mean, not it was a pretty impactful, a chaotic start.
The thing with the start,
Especially
yeah.
with
The thing with the
hassles.
start. Everybody, listen, the start.
Uh,
Yeah, listen, the start. Everyone started out with the inters. But Haas decided to take a gamble
Yeah.
and start off with the wets, which absolutely, in the
Yeah.
first 4 laps, paid dividends. it paid off significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, in one lap, Magnussen went from 8th to 4th, I believe. No, didn't he?
Yeah,
In one
absolutely.
lap.
Yeah,
And the
and
thing is,
we also saw a collision between we also saw a collision between one of the Alpines and Checo
yeah,
as well.
yeah, Checo again. Right after the first corner.
Yeah,
Is it first
yeah,
and second
because
and second
obviously,
corner?
yeah, because the entire track were on inters and the two Hasses were on wets, and they were making a lot of ground. The rain obviously impacted straight away,
Yeah.
and Haas up to that point, as you said, they
They took a
really
gamble and it
they took a
paid
gamble
off,
and it paid
but it
off,
didn't
but
pay off for long though, because the track was
no.
drying out as the rain stopped. And then, after about lap, what lap was it?
After lap 5, I believe it was, because the race, the rain, it was drooling in rain probably in the first couple
Yeah,
of
the
laps,
rain
but then
stopped. The
once,
rain stopped. Then Logan Sargent. Then the weather was clearing. The weather was clearing. Then
yeah,
Logan Sargent crashed. A safety car
yeah,
was brought out,
yeah,
and they went in for slick. Not for slicks. They went in for a new set of inters,
yes,
apart from one.
Norris,
And that one was Charles fucking Leclerc,
Leclerc,
bro.
yeah,
They
yeah.
put
So,
hards on him. The spirit of Benotto has resurfaced.
but
The
that was
spirit of
but
Benotto
that
has
was
reappeared.
Leclerc's decision, if I'm not mistaken, not the team. I
I
think
don't
that
know if
was.
it was. I don't know if it was the team or Leclerc's.
I believe it was Leclerc's decision because he thought that the track was going to the rain was going to dry was going to
No,
stop
no,
after
there
a
was
couple of
no. There wasn't
laps.
gonna be any rain.
No, no, because his strategy was that the rain was going to affect for around 2 laps, and then
Yeah,
it would stop completely. But that decision, unfortunately, that gamble didn't pay off,
it
unfortunately,
did not
because
work out.
I mean Leclerc was struggling straight away from the
Yeah.
and he also pitted at the lap where the safety car made its way into the pits. So I have no idea
Yeah.
why he
So
made the pit stop early
absolutely
before.
fumbled the bag, bro.
And going
They
back to
fumbled it.
the safety car, I mean Lando Norris was in the lead in that moment, and obviously Logan Sargent being Logan Sargent pretty much changed the race, and everyone did a pit stop, but Lando didn't do his pit stop straight away. He had to do his pit
No.
stop on at the second lap, and that didn't pay, and that costed him, unfortunately, because in Miami it was the other way around. But in this, for Montreal, unfortunately, that didn't pay off because he ended up in fourth, I believe. He ended up in fourth,
Third, fourth, somewhere around those,
ended up
somewhere like that.
behind Verstappen
At
Mercedes.
one point, when it dried out, Lando was faster than Russell and
Yeah,
Verstappen on inters. In 2 laps, he overtook them both to take the
yeah,
race lead. So
yeah.
I don't know what was the reason that they didn't bring him in. Maybe they took a gamble. Listen, it was unpredictable conditions. You can't say,
I agree with.
McLaren ruined the race. Oh, Verstappen ruined the race. Oh, Leclerc ruined the race. You can't really say that because the conditions were so unpredictable.
But the
It's all
thing
about a
is,
roll of the dice
but
every
the thing
time.
is, we fumbled our we fumbled our pit stops twice. One in that safety car, and then much later on in the race, Norris unfortunately had a little bit of a spin, and Max pretty much overtook him for the lead.
Yeah, but what happened there,
Yeah,
bro? What happened there, bro, is they went in for slicks, yeah, because the
yeah,
track dried out completely. But there were still some wet patches
yeah,
thereabout. The pit exit still had wet patches. It was
yeah,
still wet. Norris saw Verstappen coming through, and he tried to accelerate Norris. Norris tried to accelerate.
uh,
As he was trying to accelerate, the car spun from the back because he was going through that wet patch, which
yes,
allowed Verstappen to breeze through.
yes, I agree.
Because if there was no wet, because if it was bone dry, Norris would have came out in front,
Yeah,
or at least it would have been neck and neck. It wasn't
yeah.
his fault. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't Norris's fault at all. No.
To be honest, when you have rain, when rain hits the race, you need to be super cautious in how you're gonna see out the race because it's
Yeah,
unpredictable. Weather is unpredictable. You never know how it's going to pan out.
it's a
Um,
constant roll of the dice, bro.
yeah,
It's a constant roll of the
I
dice.
agree with you with the fact that neither team pretty much fucked their strategies with the pistols, but I think with Lando, the thing is, if he had pitted right when the safety car came out, because he had time to, he maybe had like a split second chance to make a pit stop, but unfortunately, but if he had made that pit stop, he would have stayed in the lead. Well, 100% he would have stayed. We would have stayed in the lead.
Yeah, and listen, and then another safety car was brought out when Sainz and Albon crashed.
That was much later on, but before we get into that, and we're speaking of
Oh,
Alex
okay.
Albon, what an overtake by Alex Albon, by the way.
Yeah.
Movie. That for me,
And that back straight, bro.
That is a major contender for overtake of the season. He
Yeah.
took out 3 cars there basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But anyways, back to your point of Sainz and Albon. Yes, another safety car.
That's the second. That was the second safety car.
Yes. Who was involved here? I think Sainz basically.
Listen, Sainz spun, and then as Sainz was going backwards, Albon was trying to avoid it and ended up taking Albon out in the process. Sainz started it all, but in reality,
Albon and yeah. And
I don't know,
Albon
bro.
is
I don't know.
Super. Listen,
Should I blame
Albon-
Sainz? I don't. It's not being biased. It's not being biased at all. No.
Yeah,
But
no.
I don't know. It was his mistake. It was his mistake that caused the crash. But should we really blame Sainz for it?
Not so much, but
It was his mistake, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But
But we're speaking about Alex Albon. Albon was so unlucky to get knocked to retire from the race because overall. I mean, leading up to the race, he had a decent weekend. I mean, getting into Q3, he was looking very very strong to get.
Yeah, he was looking racy.
1 point or 2 points for the team, but unfortunately, that crash happened and didn't pay off. And we're speaking of Ferrari. What a horrible weekend for your team as well. I mean,
absolutely,
Sainz
bro.
knocked retiring from the race, and even before that, Leclerc also retiring from the race. I mean, he took a gamble with going for slicks in the rain, didn't pay off.
It didn't work.
Was struggling straight.
He
away
was a lap
he
down
ended up getting
from
backed at by
19th
most
or
of the
what place it was.
Yeah, he was a lap down.
Nah. Listen, if I was Leclerc, I would have done the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have done the same if I was Leclerc.
But I would have to blame Leclerc on this as well, because I think that was his decision.
I don't know.
To go for
I don't
the
know.
six.
It's either it was either Leclerc's decision or the spirit of Binotto reappeared. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, we talk about Ferrari to go from a double podium with a first time third in Monaco to this.
I don't know. I don't know what the problem
that
was.
shows how one race can make such a difference. One race.
Listen, you're only as good as your last race, bro. You're only as good as your last race.
Listen, I think we should go straight to it, bro. I think they are our losers of the day, without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't look at other.
I agree.
Maybe Haas
To go from such a high 2 weeks ago to such a low 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Nah, bro.
I mean, I'm looking at some other maybe potential candidates for losers of the day. I mean, Sergio Perez has to be in that category. I mean, he ended up getting retired from the race. He had this
maybe Sergio Perez. I put Sergio Perez a contender. I put Sergio Perez as a contender.
Yeah, Perez has to be a contender, man. He had his rear wing absolutely ruined, and he ended up getting retired from the race. I mean, literally.
Not just with the Q1 elimination, but also with the crash as well that happened to him.
A double whammy for him, basically.
Yeah, a fucking double whammy. A double whammy.
And maybe I would put Haas in there, but Ferrari are definitely the biggest losers of this entire week. And I mean,
no
the
doubt.
fact that
I agree,
they got
bro.
a double DNF, and with Mercedes and the Max Verstappen's Red Bull and McLaren as well getting some decent points in the bag, this has been a major setback for Ferrari. A bad day in the office for them. Those upgrades with the engine, especially, didn't pay off. I mean, Leclerc was struggling with his engine all weekend from practice, qualifying, and in the race itself. They just weren't at the races at all. Ferrari.
Nah, they weren't up for it, bro. They weren't up for it.
Their worst weekend by far.
No doubt. And listen, compared to last season, we started the season very well this time around.
Yeah.
So I'm not complaining. It's a bad day in the office. Shit happens. We go again in Spain in 2 weeks' time, I believe, or so.
Yeah.
I
Two
don't
weeks
know.
time. 2 weeks time. 2 weeks
So
time.
we'll see from there. I guess it
Yeah.
is what it is. I'm not
Um,
really mad about it, to be honest. But
but
losers of the day for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And we're speaking of the rivals getting considerable points. I mean, yes, Verstappen won the race, but it was a very entertaining race. A lot of
No doubt.
overtaking, lots of cars crashing out or spinning out on the track because obviously when you have a wet track, the chances of spinning your car are increased massively.
Yeah.
It was a very entertaining race. And listen, we're speaking of Verstappen. If Lando Norris could have got those pit stops spot on, he would have a big chance
He
of
had, he
winning the
had, a, he
race,
had,
and
a, he had a good chance.
he,
He
he,
had a very
he
good
had a
chance.
very good chance, and his appetite.
The top four had a very good chance.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
both the McLarens, Verstappen, and Russell.
We're gonna get to I'm gonna get to Mercedes very soon, but to just wrap up on Lando Norris, he is. I mean, after that race, after his
The
after
Norris
Miami.
the Norris pit stop is bothering you, bro, ain't it?
Yeah, because I
The
know
Norris
that
pit stop is bothering you, ain't it, bro?
Both pit stops actually. Yeah,
I
man, both
know
pit
it.
stops actually, because we're looking strong, man. We're looking.
It
Listen,
pissed you off.
it did piss me off. It's not. Listen, I wouldn't say. No, bro, listen. I wouldn't say it pissed me off. I wouldn't say it pissed me off. More in the fact it was frustrating. It was very frustrating because
Yeah, but listen, bro. They took a gamble. It didn't pay off.
no,
You
no. I
can't
mean,
really blame them for
like you
that.
said, listen, like you said, shit happens.
Yeah, shit
Um,
happens, bro. Listen, look at us this weekend. I'm not
yeah,
really
I mean,
bothered,
yeah.
to be honest,
And listen,
because
speaking of our top four, what a weekend for Mercedes, man. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
what a weekend. I mean, they have struggled all season so far. And listen, Russell looked dejected after the race because I mean he had a strong chance of winning that race.
Yeah.
But Mercedes were on fire this week, and I mean,
They got
I mean,
3 and 4, no?
yeah, third and fourth because they breezed past Piastri in the last couple of laps because Piastri unfortunately his tires started to show a lot of graining, and he couldn't hold on.
And they
in
didn't
his
pit,
third
no?
place.
After the second safety car, McLaren didn't pit.
No, we didn't pit after the
Because
safety
no,
car because
that the reason being because they pitted a few laps earlier for the mediums.
yeah,
And to be honest,
absolutely.
I don't blame them neither for that.
No, I agree with that.
You can't really blame them.
And Hamilton said this was one of his worst weekends, and that is strange for me because
Very weird, very strange. And this was his best position, this best
this
finishing
season,
position this
definitely
season.
this season so far,
And
so
his worst
can't,
race.
I can't. I don't get it honestly. I don't know.
Bro,
I don't know why
we're
he had his
getting
worst race.
we're getting a diva next season for God's sakes.
Oh yeah, I mean because
We're getting a
right
diva
currently.
next season. We're getting a diva.
Honestly, I don't get it because I think Mercedes have. I mean, this has easily been their best performance of the entire season so far. I mean, the fact that they got. Listen again, George will be gutted for not winning that
Yeah.
race because he had a big chance of winning the race. I mean, the fact he started in pole was one of the reasons why. Listen, what happened?
But
in the
listen,
race
at
happened
least
with
it's
the
at least
weather.
it's their listen. At least, bro, it's their first podium of the season,
Yeah, at least that is a silver lining for them.
which
But
is much needed.
at Mercedes, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but they are going to be my pick for drivers of the for drivers of the day because
Winners of the day, yeah.
for winners of the day because the fact that Ferrari didn't score any points, the fact that they got a podium and they edged past one of their rivals with McLaren.
They got losers of the day. They got losers of the day constantly this season from us.
Yeah, they were.
So this time, for today,
yeah.
they get our purple badge. Our
Let's
purple
hope
badge.
it's not a one-off for them. Let's hope it's not a one-off occasion for them.
Yeah.
But this has been a big stepping stone for Mercedes this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Much needed. Much needed.
And that would be some relief for Toto Wolff. And he
Yeah.
needed that after
Yeah.
how his season's been going through so far.
Yeah.
Piastri in fifth, again, a little bit disappointed that he couldn't hold on to his third place, but again, another top 5 finish for him. I mean, the fact we got second and fifth, more points in the back for us. The fact that we've reduced the gap between you and us. It's also something to take out of this weekend.
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, second and fifth, not much to complain about. But again, I would be a bit frustrated that we couldn't, that that was a missed opportunity for winning for potentially winning a race. The two Aston Martins in 6 and 7 with Alonso and Lance Stroll, much needed for them, considering how their weekends how their past few races have gone, have went. Some points for them with 6th and 7th. Daniel Ricciardo in 8th took those Villeneuve's words in
very personally.
very personally. The fact that his teammate didn't score any points as well, that would have been that again. That's another big stepping block for Danny Rick, and let's not hope it's not the last time we will see him score some valuable points for the team, and a team that could be that is a potential candidate for winners of the day. The two Alpines in 9th and 10th. Fair enough that the retirements helped them, but this is so needed for them with Gasly and Ocon in 9th.
No doubt, bro. I mean, no doubt.
With two of their rivals not scoring any points, with Haas and even the Saubers of Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu not scoring any points. And even the Williams, both Williams having DNFs. This has been a great weekend for Alpine.
Much needed indeed.
Much needed
as well, bro.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, pretty much that's it for the entire weekend. I mean, easily race of the season by far.
No doubt.
I think the one race that could give it a run for its money would be Miami. I know I might be a bit biased on that, but
of course you are. Of course you are biased, bro.
Fuck off, man.
Of course you are biased. I could say Australia. I could say Australia.
I'm shameless.
I could say Australia, you dickhead.
Listen, let me be shameless for once. I'm gonna be shameless for this one. But no. But I agree. Listen, Canada is race of the season.
No doubt, race of the season. No doubt.
Much, and it came at the perfect time after the shit show that was Monaco. Basically, I mean, I don't want to see that. I don't want to.
Just because we won. Just because Ferrari won, you dickhead.
No. Hang on a minute.
Just because Ferrari won. I see what you're doing.
No, fuck off. Hang on a minute. No, because of that. Because the race was just a procession, man. Seriously.
It was a procession. But I don't care. Charles Leclerc won, so I don't care.
He won the race, but this weekend has been the complete opposite of that. But anyways, winners of the day will be Mercedes, and my losers of the day will be Ferrari. I think you are with Ferrari.
I agree, bro.
Losers.
I agree, bro.
And driver?
I'm gonna go for Verstappen today.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's deserved.
He didn't start on pole. Yes, he started second, but I believe the key calls that he and his team made during the race is what won them the race.
Just shows how special he is as a driver as well.
They were gambles. Yeah. They were rolls of the dice.
And they paid off.
But they got them right. Got them right, and it's a deserved race win for Verstappen. This one,
I agree.
It was fully deserved. So for me, he gets my driver of the day.
I think we were talking about before starting this episode, bro. We're not decided on Dick of the Day and Clown of the Day. I think we might skip them because there hasn't been really many moments this weekend.
Yeah, not really. Should I give it to Alonso for passing that comment on Ferrari?
You could
during free practice for Dick of the Day. But in reality, he was right.
Yeah, it was.
In reality, he was right.
Yeah, it was.
So, truth of the day.
We might skip them. For
we're gonna skip them for the day, man.
All right. So that is Montreal. Fantastic weekend. Not for you, Malcolm, but for just.
I know, bro. I know.
Anyways, but. If we look at the standings, Verstappen stays in the lead with 169 points. Leclerc in second with 138 points. Lando Norris in third with 113 points.
Verstappen is 194, bro.
No, 169 points, bro.
69?
No, on here it's 169 points. No, hang on a minute.
Because on the website it says
194. No, you're actually right. Sorry, let me get to that again.
Don't care, bro.
So, Verstappen with 194 points. Leclerc in second with 138 points. Lando Norris is just a few points behind him with 107
points off, bro.
Yeah, only 7 points.
7 points.
I mean, if Leclerc gets another DNF and Lando gets more points, he'll get second easily.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz in fourth with 108 points. A point behind him is Sergio Perez with 107 points. Oscar Piastri with 81 points. George Russell with the kinky number of 69 points. Hamilton with 55 points. Fernando Alonso with 41 points. Yuki Tsunoda with 19. Lance Stroll with 17 points. Danny Rick with 9 points. Hülkenberg is tied with 6 points with Oliver Behrman. Pierre Gasly with 3 points. Alex Albon and Esteban Ocon with 2 points. Kevin Magnussen with 1 point. And the two Saubers of Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas and the Williams of Logan Sargent are still without a single point this season so far. If we look at the constructors, Red Bull stay on top with 301 points. Ferrari in second with 252 points. In third is McLaren with 212 points. Mercedes have made considerable ground in fourth place with 124 points. Aston Martin in fifth with 58 points. Racing Bulls 28 points. Haas remain in seventh with 7 points. Lucky number. Alpine 8th with 5 points in the bag. Williams 9th with 2 points. And Sauber remain rock bottom with nada. All right, that is it, guys. That is the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. We had a lot to talk about. We had
a lot to talk about. It was a beefy episode.
Yeah,
we did say
very
that.
Beefy. Make sure, guys, to follow us on our socials: Facebook, Instagram,
always,
Spotify.
Bro. Much
Our
love,
next episode is in 2 weeks' time, where we'll be heading back to Europe to España, Catalonia. Quick thoughts on this track, bro? I think it's a great. It's not.
It is one of the staples in Formula One.
Yeah,
it has become quite boring as of late, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has a bit.
It has become quite boring. Yeah. But luckily, since last year, they did that track change.
Yeah.
In the last sector,
yeah.
Which was much needed.
Yes.
Because that change in the last sector where you turn like this before you start finish, it killed off any momentum you had.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to revert it back as it was, which was much needed.
And let's
but still, bro, it's been pretty boring as of late.
And let's hope it would be another great race like we had in Montreal. What do you say, bro?
Love to.
Yes.
But I doubt that.
Let's hope so.
I would love to, but I doubt that.
All right, guys, that is it. Hope you have a great week ahead. And as always, we'll see you in the next episode. Adios and peace.
Much love. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Good night.
Good night.